And it's so nice to welcome Samuel J. Wurzelbacher on the program this morning, Republican running for the 9th Congressional District seat. Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning.
Thanks for coming on.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Now, tell me, you have some notoriety here from the '08 campaign. Joe the Plumber, the nation knows you. In Congress, what do you intend to do?
I intend on, ultimately my platform is tax reform and getting rid of some of the burdens and regulations that actually hurt the middle class working man in this area. And it doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, union, non-union, tax reform and getting rid of some of these regulations are key to prosperity for the state of Ohio and obviously specifically the Northwest District, Northern Ohio area.
Number one issue for a lot of folks in this election season is the economy, jobs. What in particular do you want to do to bring jobs to Ohio's North Coast?
I want to get the federal government out of their life. That's what's hindering job growth. So tax reform is key. That will specifically help people in Northern Ohio. By getting the federal government out of the private market, letting you and me, the consumer, decide what we want to buy, that's the ticket right there. That way to increase the small business growth, entrepreneurship, competitiveness in the market, bringing down prices, tax reform and regulations. That's always going to be the key.
Some of your competitors actually on each side of the aisle have talked about tax reform and incentivizing companies who have shipped jobs overseas to bring them back. Is that a similar goal? How would you like to accomplish it?
Well, you said it yourself. They've talked about it. They've talked about it for, one's talked about it for almost 30 years. The other one's talked about it for 20 years. I'm done with the talk. As a plumber, I can't talk a building and the plumbing itself. At the end of my day, I have to have results, and they have to be good results, otherwise I don't get paid. So ultimately, I'm running for Congress and asking the people in the 9th District to hire me to go to Congress and get good results.
Now, an issue of national importance, energy policy, really does strike a nerve here at home because of the Davis-Besse situation, the cracks that are found there. In fact, a report just out that the cracks might have been there since the winter blizzard of '78. So some of your competitors want to see it shut down. Some want to see it a slow transition out. What would you like Davis-Besse's future to be?
I believe in nuclear power. It's been a proven quantity for some time now. Do we need to make sure it's safe and operable? Absolutely. But why get rid of something that's used worldwide? I mean, we use it in our military for, as far as our submarines. It's a safe alternative. Why we're not promoting things, and not to mention your natural gas, your oil, your coal. One thing I always talk about is your environmentalists say they want to save the planet, they want to save the world. Well, why are they wanting third world nations who do not have the technology or the safety in place, drilling and mining over there? Why don't we bring it here to America? Because we're going to do it better, we're going to do it safer, we're going to do it cleaner. If they truly want to save the world, they want America drilling.
Now, in Ohio, there was an instance in the Youngstown area with wells and putting the wastewater in, and while
fracking.
It's similar to the fracking issue. Is that a concern of yours? Would you like to see more hydraulic fracturing in Ohio?
I would love to see some more hydraulic fracking going on in Ohio. I mean, you talk about the jobs it would create. There was a poll put out, not a poll, but a study done. If we can continue to go for natural gas, some of the oil shale, you're talking about almost 2 million jobs being created in the state of Ohio alone. That's serious business. That's serious jobs. That'll help everybody from Cleveland to Toledo down to Cincinnati and obviously the rest of the country. So it's something I definitely want to look into more. I want to open up more of it. I know the concerns out there about earthquakes and whatnot, but the research I've put into it, and I've done a lot of reading on it because obviously I have to have my ducks in a row. There's more small earthquakes, if you will, by drilling for oil, and you don't hear them crying about that. Like I said, it's completely out of balance. The left seems to want to hurt our economy or keep energy independence from happening at the expense of American people, American jobs, and American security.
One more specific issue here, the healthcare debate has been one that has been raging for years now. It will continue to go on surely when you or whoever takes the oath to be the representative from the 9th Congressional District. What would you do in office about the healthcare issue, even considering the Supreme Court would have likely already decided on its constitutionality?
Well, the people of Ohio already spoke. What was it? Overwhelmingly 67% of Ohioans said, get rid of it, be done. That's why I'm a very big firm believer in limited government, strong states' rights. The people in Ohio need to be able to choose what they want to do, and the federal government needs to back off. But ultimately, at a federal level, it was something I would definitely sponsor, co-sign a bill to get Obama's health care taken off the books. It's unconstitutional, bottom line in the story. You don't do things that compromise the Constitution, because the men that created that Constitution are a heck of a lot smarter than the men and women trying to run this country right now.
Your competitor, Steve Krause, is a private businessman who is running for this seat for the first time. Mm-hmm. What, if specifically looking at March 6th, looking at this primary battle between you and Steve Krause, what do you bring to the table that he does not, and why is it so important, in your opinion, for Republicans to choose you as their nominee?
Well, you know, Mr. Krause is doing what I instruct him to do, and what I have done for the last 3 years, encouraging Americans to step up. So I applaud his efforts, absolutely. What the difference is, I know I can't be bought, I know I won't be sold out, and I know I will work for the American people before I will even think about working for the parties. That's really what has gotten us into this mess. The Republicans work for themselves, the Democrats work for themselves. Who's looking at the constituents? You know, I'll do that job. And then obviously the race that we're looking at right now is going to take a lot of money to be raised to actually put on a serious race against Marcy Kaptur or Dennis Kucinich, and I have that ability to do that. And then this bottom line is, you know, I got the blue-collar, middle-class roots. I don't have to pretend to be. You know, that's who I am, and I want to work for them. I want to give them the voice they haven't had for the last 30 years. So, you know, from knocking on door to doors, putting the work ethic in, the drive in, I have that. And so I'm going to go out there, meet the people. I mean, I've knocked on 5,000 doors. 62% of the Democrats I've spoken to say they're going to vote for me already. And we're going to just move onward. We're going to make this happen, and we're going to actually look for good results when I get to Congress.
Any closing thoughts, just days away from the primary? You sort of wrapped it up there, but anything else you wanted to say to our viewers and your, hopefully for your sake, your future constituents?
Ultimately, I'm doing this out of a sense of responsibility. It's not a sense of entitlement, not a sense of this is the next move up that you have to do in order to maintain a platform. It comes down from a sense of responsibility. I feel responsible. I served my country in the United States Air Force as a plumber, and now I get to serve my country as a congressman, and it's done out of responsibility. That's the biggest thing. I have an opportunity to do good here, and it's become a responsibility, and I'm going to see it through all the way.
All right, Samuel J. Wurzelbacher, thank you so much for being with us today, Republican candidate for the 9th Congressional District of Ohio.